What's up, Holly?
Okay, there we go. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. I'm excited about this. How many people are registered?
The last I checked yesterday afternoon was 16.
Okay,
So decent.
we shall see. And I'm wondering if some of the ones from the Facebook event will be counted towards that, if they had already registered or not. Do you know?
Yeah, I don't know for sure. That's a good question.
I put a post on there about
Should
that
be.
to make sure that they registered. So we shall see.
Yeah, we shall see. We shall
If
see.
not, there might be another 5 or 6 from that too.
Yeah, I hope so.
Me too.
I hope so. I'm trying to figure out my screen, so I keep bouncing around here for a second. Trying to figure out which one's best. If I share that. That looks right? You can see the presentation?
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay. I like to sometimes stop it and actually go on to LinkedIn and show actual stuff I'm doing, but we'll see how that works. That would work if I did it like that. Okay. Oh. Give it a few seconds here, get some people logged in. What's up, Jay?
Hey, how you doing this morning? Can you hear me?
You can. It's a little bit choppy, but we're doing great. Thanks for being on here.
Hey, this is Jay. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Jay. Good morning. Good morning, Kim.
Hey, John, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Something's wrong here.
Now I see you, Jay. We got a couple other people trying to get on here, so give it a couple of minutes.
Good morning.
What's up, Steve?
How you doing?
We got a couple of people coming on and one bounced.
Man, I was flying to get here from
Yeah,
Prosper area.
you got it worked out.
Yeah, just barely.
Boom, boom, boom. Is there anybody else jumping on you know of?
No, I'm looking right now. No, not off the top of my head. I don't have the list in front of me.
Hey, this is Jay. Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Jay.
Awesome. I'm sure some difficulty with connecting Bluetooth, so I disconnected it. But anyway, I'm going to be listening while I'm driving.
Gotcha. That sounds good. Appreciate you jumping on here today. I see Kim is on here as well. Appreciate you jumping on, Kim.
Good morning, Holly.
Morning, Steve. How are you?
Just fine. And you?
I am good.
Good.
I'm trying to keep it on mute because I've got kids in the background.
Uh-oh.
It's a work.
Can't have
You might see some crazy VR kids, or who knows what they'll be up to.
that. That's all right.
We'll get this thing started. We got a couple of people coming on. We can get started here.
Okay.
This kind of came about just really came about for me. LinkedIn became a tool for me about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago now, that I really started engaging with, and I started seeing a lot of success connecting to people and growing my business. And so I was asked to teach a class to some builders, sales reps, maybe 6 months ago. And I kind of put together this class I'm going to share with you guys. And it's really based on the things I've done personally to build my profile up, how I kind of post, how I get engagement and generate lead opportunities. So it's kind of what this class is about today. I met Steve Cunningham at lunch about 6 months ago, and I started talking to him about how I've been using LinkedIn. And Steve literally at lunch put together a new account because he hasn't been on LinkedIn at all and started from zero. And we've built him up over 4,000 connections. And he's been getting business from LinkedIn now in only a few months. So he's kind of a case study that I got on here that he can talk to the things he's done and how we've been engaging with LinkedIn. And what I found is, a lot of people say, I don't like LinkedIn for various different reasons. People just try to recruit me or sell me things. And, I learned how to change up my network, and it became a really valuable tool. And I don't feel that way necessarily. And I learned that I don't want to be connected to certain people that are going to do that. So I just remove my connections and I build the network of people that I want to build and engage with. And it really changed the whole LinkedIn experience for me. So hopefully you guys learn some stuff today, some tips I'm going to share with you, just advice, tips, how to build your profile. And at the end of the day, the number one takeaway is I want you to know how to build your profile in a way that will attract business to you. And we'll talk about why that's so important. So I'm just going to click my presentation here and kind of get started. So like I said, why should we be on LinkedIn? First thing, how to build an attractive profile that is going to draw people to you on LinkedIn. How are we going to build connections to grow our all of our network? How are we going to post, and what are we going to post, and how do we get the most visibility out of our post? And then most importantly, how do we generate leads? So that's the talking points that we're going to kind of go through here real quick. So why LinkedIn? LinkedIn is hot right now. If you Google it, you'll see that it'll say LinkedIn is maybe the #1 social platform for 2020. And I just gathered some information up over the last year to really learn about LinkedIn. I think some of this is really vital to your business. You know, you get more conversations on LinkedIn than you do through Facebook and Twitter. One of the coolest things about LinkedIn that's very different is you know who's viewing your profile. And if you want to pay for a premium, you can see every single person that's viewing your profile. Depending on what business you're in, that could be really critical because you can see those people and you can market directly to them. So that's an interesting feature that's different on LinkedIn than other platforms. Upper management, executive type people are on LinkedIn. There are a lot of users that are younger on LinkedIn, which doesn't necessarily, when you first think about LinkedIn, you wonder, like, are younger people coming into the workforce on LinkedIn? They're all on there. 39% of users have premium subscriptions, which I think is really interesting. People with degrees are on LinkedIn. So if you're a real estate agent and you're looking to increase your average sales price for professionals, you know, LinkedIn is a place to be. It's a place to have your profile developed. It's a place to engage with people because the people on there, the average user on LinkedIn makes $78,000 a year. That's more than double the national average. So, you know, there's just an opportunity here to engage with people in those type of positions. So the most important thing that I'll tell you is if we Google your name right now and where you work. So if it was like Steve Cunningham, Service First Mortgage, his LinkedIn profile is probably the #3 search result on Google. LinkedIn is very visible. Your profile is going to be something that's going to be the top of search results, at least on that first page, if not in the top 5 results, no matter how many social profiles or websites or all that you have. Microsoft owns LinkedIn. They want it to be at the top of all these search results. And so if you are, and this is why I think this is so important, if you're a real estate agent and somebody's sitting around and they say, hey, I'm thinking about selling my house or buying a house, and they get a referral to you and maybe a couple other people, first thing they're going to do is Google your name. Your LinkedIn could be the one thing they look at to determine if they trust you and want to make a phone call to you. If your LinkedIn profile is not completed, you don't have a banner at the top, you haven't filled out your bio, they might say that you're not active, they might not take you serious or as a professional, especially if the other person they look at or compare to has their profile complete. So that's just my one big takeaway is at least put your best foot forward on social and build your profile. And I'm going to go through the steps that I want you guys to do to just complete your profile. So that's my big takeaway of what you need to do. Here's what I think about LinkedIn in general. LinkedIn is like the chamber. It's okay at the chamber to stand up every day, tell people what you do, ask for business, ask for networking opportunities or meetings. You can do that on LinkedIn every day, all the time. You should do it. Like, that's just what it's for. There's a way to do it, but you should do that every day. I think Facebook is more like a barbecue. If you walk into your friend's barbecue, you don't stand up and tell everybody what you do and ask for meetings and referrals and that type of thing. It's more of a conversational thing, and that's the way I look at Facebook. So LinkedIn is a real opportunity that you should be standing up, telling people what you do, and marketing yourself on. So here's the components of building up your profile. I call it an attractive profile to attract people to you. And so we're going to go through headshot, banner image, headline, your bio, which I think is the most important. Some other things on here that you may not have considered or understand how they work. How do you feature things? And then why is it important to fill out the rest of all the little sections of your bio? So let's go through that real quick. First and foremost, and this one's obvious, but you should have a professional headshot. The reason is everything you do on LinkedIn, your headshot and your headline follow you around. If you make a comment on somebody's page, your headshot and your headline follow around. People are going to see that headshot. Here's an example of a couple that you don't want to be like. You don't want the squeezed picture and the skinny head. You don't want the arm in your picture. You know, you just want a professional image that shows who you are and that people will want to do business with you. So that's obvious, right? Next is a banner. This is the one thing I see most of the time that people don't complete. So when you go onto LinkedIn, the very top of the page, there's this opportunity to put a banner. On this banner, you can put anything you want on there. I like this particular one because it tells what he does, helping you buy and sell real estate in Seattle. I mean, if you land on his page and you're looking for a realtor and you live in Seattle, you're gonna be like, that's my guy, right? He's professional. He tells you what he does. You're going to want to give him a call. That's a real opportunity. I've tried different banners. I just think it needs to be eye-catching is the key. I'm going to show you on this next slide. So here's an example of my banner. So I just have an image on here of a sky. It's pretty. I actually added my contact information up here because I want you, if you land on my page and you're interested in contacting me, I want there to be no excuses for you to find my contact information. Jump on there. Here's my email. Here's my website, my phone number, text me. I know you can find it down in the bio and other things in LinkedIn, but I just want there to be no reason that you're confused on how you make contact with me. So any kind of image is good. Just make it eye-catching. So the reason I'm on this slide is a headline. A headline is kind of your job title. And I just made a switch on this actually over the last couple of days. And this is kind of new information. Steve and I talked a lot about it, and I haven't even told him. But what I did coach to on this was to have a one-line headline. And so I used to say, for me, I'm a servant leader, coach, business builder at Service First Mortgage. Those are things that, if you're looking at my profile, those are things I do. That's part of my job. And then I've recently tried something new, and I like this idea. Inside in your headline, you can add exactly what you do. So I said, my job is helping mortgage professionals build systems, attract talent, and turn their vision to a reality. That's what I do in my job every day. And so if I was a realtor, I might say, helping you buy, sell, invest in real estate. It might be really simple. The reason I've made this shift is because I want people on the second they land on my page, I want to know clearly what I do. And then I also learned that these words are the first things that come up when people search. These are LinkedIn algorithm looks for your headline as your keywords when people are searching. So if I was looking for, a coach in mortgage, those two words pop up in my headline. So I'm going to be one of the top search results, especially if you're looking in Texas or in my area. So I think it's important to think through your headline. Also with your headline, it follows you around. So if I go comment on other people's pages, my picture is going to be on there and my headline is going to be on there. So it's going to tell people everywhere I go and interact what I do. So it's a very key component of LinkedIn. So there's also one more piece. This is kind of like next level, but on the website, when you're on your computer, that headline is 120 characters. If you go on your phone to your mobile version, it's actually 220 characters. So you can put a lot longer headline if you want to and try some different things out on your phone through the mobile app than you can on the website. So I think that's interesting that there's some differences there. So just know that that's an opportunity for you. I would challenge you to put some words on there that tell who you are and what you're looking to do, and then maybe try something different and just kind of test it over time. Change it up every 3 or 6 months and see if it doesn't attract different people to you or change the amount of views you get on your profile. I think that's a key thing to really key in on and focus on. Next, and I think this is so critical, is your bio. So your about me is what LinkedIn says. And your about me, I break it down into 4 key sections. And this is what you're going to see if you read mine, kind of in this section. You're going to see the first thing I want to know is just who are you as a person? You don't have to get too personal, just in general, just the basics. Who are you as a person? What do you do? What is your job? And how can you help people? That type of thing. The next one, and this is where I get a lot of comments on mine, is what are your core values and your beliefs? When people read those, they resonate, like they feel like they know you a little bit. And so talk about who you are as a person, what you believe in, that type of thing. And then last of all, again, make it so easy that for people to connect with you. Put on there your phone number, your email, whatever, all your information to connect. I'm going to slide the screen over here. So you can see that, right, Steve? Yeah, okay. So in my bio, I'm a highly trained mortgage professional. This is who I am as a person. I'm a husband, my bride for 20 years, just my basics. I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan, Mavs fan. I grew up in Kansas City. People will key in on that sometimes and connect with me and tell me something about that. Next, kind of here's my job, what I do. This one I think is important. The following statements best represent my core values. God and family are fundamental important to me. On, you know, that type of thing. I need to break this down. And then I just kind of say, if my story resonates with you, I'd like an opportunity to connect. And then boom, here's all my connections. So this is how I've built my profile. I get a lot of people that will connect to me the first time, and they'll make a comment about the core values. They'll make a comment about my favorite team. They'll just make these little comments. Thanks for connecting. I noticed this about you. So all of a sudden we have conversation. So take the time to build your profile. Once you do, you can use this on your website, your other social platforms. So it's important for you to use everywhere. So it's not just an opportunity for LinkedIn. Any questions on that? No questions? I know I'm going fast. So if you have a question, just turn your mic off and just fire in. So be happy to stop and help you with anything or anything you're thinking about. So next, I think this is the kind of the last opportunity where you're going to attract different people to you. So complete your entire bio all the way down. The different experiences you have are your jobs. The education, where'd you go to school? You know, people love to see, like, if you went to A&M and the other person went to an A&M, they're going to key in on that and be like, hey, you know, gig them or whatever you're going to say. But that's going to be the one thing that might attract you guys to start having a conversation. Maybe if you have a passion for volunteering and you have different things that you're passionate about, you're going to attract those type of people to you. They're going to ask about the places that you volunteer or different awards you have or any of that type of stuff. So just fill out your entire bio, because you don't know what's going to be that one thing that is a common ground to attract you to the person that you're trying to reach out there. Let's see. There's a section called featured in LinkedIn, and what it allows you to do is feature your best posts, articles, links, anything that you want people to see about you. And so I'm going to slide my screen over here again. If you look at mine, I have my bio. Right below that says featured.
Hey, John.
Yep.
I'm still seeing the featured slides. I'm not seeing what you're bringing over.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Is it there?
Nope.
Huh.
There we go.
Okay. Thank you. So featured is a section right here. Featured allows you to pick a post, an article, a link. For me, a lot of times I do a lot of recruiting. And so I've featured articles about our company here that I want people to see. And then I have a couple of posts on here that I want people to see if they happen to dig into my profile and want to learn a little bit more. So these are just things that I think are valuable and important. You can put anything you want in there. If you wanted to write the story or do a video or make a post about why you're in real estate and what your passion is, I would recommend you put that in there as one of your featured ones. It always stays right there. It's just an opportunity for you to kind of tell the world what you do. So no, that's featured is a function there that you should take advantage of. That's really my key point. Experience is your next opportunity, I think, to attract people to you, especially if you're recruiting. If I was a real estate agent, I was trying to build my team and I started interviewing for assistants, you know, they're going to land maybe on my LinkedIn profile, but then they're going to scroll down to my job where I currently work. And so a lot of you guys might know Tom Ferry. He's a real estate coach, and I just pulled up his for fun. If you land on Tom Ferry, he's been 16 years, founder and CEO of his company, and it tells you all the things that his company does. And then he's featured different videos and things for you to discover. So when you look at this is his personal profile, but this is really a commercial for why you want to engage with his company. So it's a different approach than what some people think. They're not using this as a resume saying these are all the things I've done in the past. They're actually using it as an advertising spot to attract people to you. So I've kind of done the same because, you know, can you see that, Steve?
No, I can't see if you're pulling something over. I don't see it.
It's weird how it kind of does it and doesn't.
John, I think you're sharing just the slide, not the actual monitor.
You couldn't see mine before?
Like it came and then it went back away.
Exactly.
Is it back now?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Super weird.
There you go.
One.
Well, no, that's just you. What the heck happened?
Somebody have a question? Nope. I think you can see that, right?
Yes.
So, for example, Service First Mortgage, this is, if you look at, this is my work experience. I've been here 11 years, 5 months. It's my job title. Here's kind of a commercial for what we do here at Service First. And then I've put some videos of growth stories and opportunities here. So if you were considering coming to work here and you connected with me, maybe I interviewed you, then you're probably going to look at my profile and scroll down to Service First Mortgage. You're going to uncover more information about our company and things that we do. You know, it's not for me. I don't treat it like a resume. I treat it as an opportunity for people to learn more about my company. So it's a little different mindset shift than what most people do. You know, for me, I just have kind of in my profile, since I'm going college experience, licenses I have, boards I'm on, things like that. So just complete your profile. That's really the big takeaway that I want you guys to have.
Hey, John,
Yep.
do you have any input on the section where it says to write an article?
Article, yes, I do. I get into articles in a minute. I'll give you a little bit more detail on that. So
Okay, I
love it. I want to make sure I cover it, which I will, but we'll go into that a little bit more. So yes, I do. I get into articles here in a minute. Recommendations, you get asked about this a little bit. So I would tell you that for me, recommendations, you want to keep them current. I've landed on people's profiles and their last recommendation was maybe 2010 or 11. I might be looking at them to hire here at the company or do business with. And it makes me think, why have they not had a recommendation in the last 8 or 9 years? Are they not active? Are they not working that hard? Like, you just wonder, right? You build your own story about why that might be. So don't give people the opportunity to think that way. My recommendation is about every 6 months, go out, you give somebody a recommendation, you ask for one back, and just kind of keep that current so people know you're active, you're still working in the business, you know, things are going well, that type of thing. It's a little bit different mindset than getting reviews on Google or Yelp or something like that. The more reviews, the better on those type of things, and people really go through and read that. I think just try to stay current with your recommendations and make sure that, you know, a couple of years haven't gone by and nobody's recommended you. With LinkedIn, you just go to somebody's profile, you click recommend, you write a nice little recommendation on them. They approve it before it posts on their profile, and then it asks them to do it back for you. So you can ask people for recommendations. You know, it's an easy thing to do. It doesn't take long, especially with your business partners. People are willing to write a quick recommendation. So just know that's something that you should be paying attention to, and you should just stay current on those recommendations. Endorsements. So endorsements pop up a lot. You can choose which skills in LinkedIn are your top skills, and then it will ask people to endorse you for those skills that you engage with. The only thing I've found that's really helps you with is that your search results are a little bit stronger. So if I was searching for a realtor and, you know, their skills were sales oriented, it might pull that search result up and put you in front of other realtors or some of your competition because more people have endorsed you. But I don't see it happening that much. I wouldn't spend a lot of time on skills and endorsements. You just need to know what it is. It's going to ask you sometimes to endorse people, and when they endorse you, you need to be aware of what they're endorsing you for. It definitely helps you. It's not a bad thing. It's not going to do anything negative for you. So I just wouldn't spend a lot of time going and endorsing people and making it a big thing, because I don't know that you're going to get a lot of lift out of it. I haven't seen it personally, and I've tried some tactics to see if it would help me. I didn't get viewed more. I really didn't search results more. So it's just a part of LinkedIn you should be aware of. Let's talk about building up your network. What are the different ways that you can grow your connections? Because I think that's something we all want to do, is get more connections. So first thing you can do is you can sync up your email to LinkedIn, and then it will ask everybody to connect with you. I recommend you do that. The only downside to that is if maybe you have somebody's email address, they don't check a lot and they don't see the invitation, you'll kind of email them a few times and it'll keep bugging them a little bit to connect on LinkedIn. So somebody might reach out to you and say, hey, you keep bugging me about LinkedIn. It might be an opportunity for you to connect with them anyway, and just say, hey, let's connect anyway, and maybe now we're in a conversation, but it's not that bad. It's just a way to grow your connections. Another thing you can do, and I'll send this deck out to everybody here that's registered. We don't want to go into all the steps, is you can literally put somebody's email address and ask them to connect. You can upload a list specifically right into LinkedIn, and then it will ask you to connect right onto LinkedIn. So if you had a target of a group of people that you wanted to go after, maybe you joined the chamber and you wanted to connect to everybody on LinkedIn and you got the list, then you could drop that list into LinkedIn and it'll specifically go out and ask those people to connect via email, and it'll drive them back to LinkedIn. So that's an opportunity to grow your network. Another thing I think is really cool, and I didn't realize this, but only 2% of people on LinkedIn are not in some kind of group. So groups are really a big part of LinkedIn. And inside these groups are people that you would want to connect with because you have common interest. So some groups could just be like, I'm up here in McKinney today. It could be the chamber in McKinney. That could be a group. It could be a group of, I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan. It could be a bunch of football fans that are on there, but I still may want to connect with those people, so be targeted to those groups of people that you want to connect with. Could be there's just all different kinds of groups. So just be strategic when you join those groups that you want to build your connections through clicking on and connecting with those people. Another thing, and this one's kind of obvious, but LinkedIn does a great job of recommending people to you. So when you're going on your LinkedIn feed, it'll show you, as you start accepting more people, it will show you, hey, these are people with similar roles that you've been connecting to. Would you like to connect? And as you hit connect to some of those people, it'll start recommending more people with similar backgrounds or similar profiles. And so it does a great job of that. So if I was looking to connect to all the title reps in the area, as I start clicking on them, they're going to notice there's a common theme with their profiles, and it's going to keep feeding me more and more title reps if that's what I was looking for. It could be any job. Maybe you're going to target Raytheon and you want to go after all the Raytheon employees. It's going to start finding all those Raytheon employees and just have you connect more and more. So just use that algorithm to your favor. If we're in person, this is my favorite part of the class. I want you guys to know about this, but on your phone, when you open the LinkedIn app, you can actually connect with people through a QR code. And so I give you the instructions on how to do it here, but if you open the app, you click on My Network at the bottom left. And so My Network, and then you click on, there's a little blue person on the right with a plus sign. When you click on that, you can say, send QR code, and that's going to allow you to pop up a screen. I don't know if you can see it, but you can take a picture of the QR code, or you can have somebody view your code, and then you just connect immediately. So it's kind of fun to do. If you're at an event or a networking event and you wanted to connect on LinkedIn, that's just something you can do. Another thing you can do, and this is a really cool one. Let's say I was the guest speaker at my networking group on a Thursday, I could stand up and say, everybody open LinkedIn, click on My Network, and then click on Find Nearby. And what would happen is we're all in the room together. Everybody's LinkedIn would pop up, and you would have the choice to connect to every single person in that room. So it's a really cool way to build your network. It's a cool way to be interactive with the group. It's a cool way to just be kind of high tech. So just know that's a neat function. It's very easy to do. Literally, it's 2 clicks. You click on My Network, the little blue guy, and then you click on Connect to Nearby. And as everybody starts turning it on, you see all the names pop up. It's a fun thing to do in person, and it just builds everybody's connections. So just know that's an opportunity. If you're ever a speaker at like a networking event, this is a cool thing for you to do. Any questions about anything?
Hey, John, when you do that, like I just did it on yours, but because we're already connected, it just went to your page.
Right.
If you're not connected to that person, what pops up?
It pops up, it just pops up their name, and then it'll allow you to connect with them.
Okay.
You have to do it in person. It only works if you're in person. It's pulling off Bluetooth, actually. So that Connect Nearby feature. So it only works when you're in a room with a bunch of people. I was at a multimedia marketing event, and I learned about this kind of last October, and there was about 200 of us in the room. And so we all turned it on, and we could start seeing all the people, and they were just like connected and going crazy. So it was kind of neat to build your connections. That kind of leads me to a question I get a lot is, do I want to connect with everybody? You know, that's a question a lot of us get. And I think that you do want to connect with people that you might want to do business with. I would also tell you that if somebody is coming at you and they're just selling you, just disconnect from them, and you won't have that pressure on LinkedIn of them constantly trying to push on you. I don't like when I connect with somebody and they send me this long email about why I should do business with them. You know, personally, I don't go about it that way, and I'll get into kind of my approach here in a minute. But you are the one that controls your network and how your user experience is on LinkedIn. But I would tell you, the more people you're connected with, the more opportunity you have to make more connections or to get introductions, that type of thing. So don't overthink it. LinkedIn is a marketing tool, and you're out here to market and connect to people. I've had people tell me they will not connect to anybody unless they know them. I'm like, well, that's your choice, but I think you're missing opportunity is the way I look at it. So these are the instructions real quick on the screen, just how to find nearby. So it's, if you remember this moment in the presentation, you're like, he told me how to do that. The clicks are here. So you can go back to that. So let's talk a little bit about posting. What are you going to post, right? So I think that you should post things that are engaging for other people that they want to share. People want to learn about people. Personal stories are great, experiences that you have. Maybe you go out and I like to call it, Gary Vaynerchuk is a social media guy. If you guys know him, he has a philosophy for real estate agents, and he says you should become the digital mayor of your community. And what he means by that is you're like the news reporter of everything going on in your community. And I think he's right. So one of his ideas is to go out to local businesses and just talk about, a quick review on the business, what it's like at that business or at that restaurant or at that store or whatever, and get engagement with that. You're going to expand your network. People are going to be interested in that. And oh, by the way, you're also a real estate agent, not I'm a realtor first. You don't lead with that. And so you got to give people value. And I'm going to get into that a little bit more. Personal videos are great on LinkedIn. Just turn your phone around, tell a story, talk about what's going on. People want to engage and hear what other people have to say. Talk about books you've read, lessons you've learned, have fun with comedy, just be classy, obviously. Think about what you want to be known for and how you want to be presented on LinkedIn. So some of the things I've been doing is adding little banners to a lot of my images lately on my posts. I want to come off professional, and I want people to notice when I post, they recognize the things I'm doing. So I'm trying to build my brand a little bit by doing that. If you're stuck and you're like, I don't know what to post today, just look at what you're doing. Look at your to-do list and document your day. If you're out showing houses, there's something interesting about what's going on with showing those houses. Are there a lot of people looking at those houses? Is it quiet out there? What's going on in the market? What is it? Is it safe to go out and look at houses? There's so many things that you can make a post about. Just think about what you're doing today and what other people might want to know. and post about that. Community information is a great one. What businesses are coming in? What businesses are leaving? How is our community growing? What's the latest news? You know, people want to share that type of information. You know, even personal stuff. One of the things I've been told recently is that people want to know, I've asked a few people that follow my posts, like, what do they want to know more about? And a lot of them said more about you. And I thought that was interesting to know that people are actually want to hear kind of your story and what you like to do and that type of thing. So just keep that in mind as well. I would say the best thing you can do is find the kind of content that you like and copy that and post similar content to what you like to read. So if you don't, what I've noticed on LinkedIn, and we'll get into what don't post, I've noticed that people that post their open houses, there's almost no engagement. So is that a good post? I don't know. I don't think LinkedIn likes it. I don't think the users of LinkedIn really care if you have an open house. I think they would rather see the 5 restaurants where kids eat free on a Tuesday than they would rather see that you have an open house. You know, it's just a different mindset around what you post. I think that there's a place on YouTube to educate people and teach them about real estate and do it a little bit different, where you could draw people to that. And maybe on YouTube, you have classes on how to turn your primary residence into an investment property, or what are the 10 things you should know before you buy your first house, or things like that. Those are opportunities out there that you should be marketing, but I don't know that all that stuff always goes on your LinkedIn post. So just be careful of that. What I see people not engaging with is industry jargon type stuff. You know, why does it matter that the Fannie Mae loan limits changed? That doesn't matter to the average consumer. It doesn't matter to realtors necessarily. And the way that like mortgage professionals present that, it's kind of confusing. You know, interest rate is a good point to talk about sometimes in general, but I think it's not done properly, and people just want to know a ballpark of where the rates are. So don't overdo rates. I see there's some services that will post reviews, and it's like a canned image. It doesn't really tell about the review. There's not a lot of engagement on those. I'd say that's not a good post necessarily. There's a different way to take a review and post it. Maybe you make it personal. Maybe you tell the story about the buyers that you helped get into their first house, and you take the words from that review and you make your own post about it and talk about how excited you were to help this family. That's better than an automated post that just pushes out there that nobody engages with. So you just got to really be in tune with how is your audience engaging with your posts, and what are you getting a lot of interaction with, and then post more like that. At the end of the day, you want engagement, you want shares, and they're going to know what you do, and you're going to have an opportunity to engage with those people through direct message. So I'm going to give you a couple of just examples. We'll talk about how to structure a post, and we'll just talk about a few more content ideas. So here's what I like to do for structuring a post. I like to, if I'm calling out an audience, I like to put that audience on there. As users are scrolling through our feed, if I was a realtor and I made a post that says realtors, the opportunity to get your attention is a little bit higher because I put realtors on there. You might stop a second longer and see what I post. You know, if I put HR director, because I'm targeting HR director, you're going to get their attention a little bit quicker. So if you're calling out an audience, which you're not always, but if you are, put that at the top of your post, and then share the content that you're writing your post about. Talk in bullet points. There's a tool that I use. I use Grammarly.com, obviously. That's one a lot of us know. But I use a website called HemingwayApp.com. It's free. You can copy the text of your post and drop it in it, and it will tell you the grade level of what you're writing. What you want to do is write at a grade level of 3rd to 5th grade. I know it's opposite of what a lot of people think, but most of us are scrolling through a feed. We want to be in bullet points, and we want to get our point across. Very easy to read. So if you're writing at 9th, 12th grade level, you're probably using long sentences. It's probably a lot of text, and people aren't going to read that because they're just running through a feed. They're looking for little moments inside a feed. So change the way your content's written. Use HemingwayApp.com as a guide to help you kind of know what your grade level's at and how that's working. Use bullet points a lot. ask a question at the end of it. So if I said HR directors, would you like me to help show you how I can talk about the community and help attract more doctors to your hospital? If your HR director is trying to bring in new doctors and I was a realtor, I might make a post around how I'm going to engage with the HR director and help them attract those doctors to come work at their hospital. And then I'm going to ask a question around that, like, have you ever had a realtor pick your doctor or your candidate up at the airport for you and show them the town on the way to the interview, or something. I'm just making this up here, but ask a question to look for engagement. And then I've been doing some research on hashtags. We'll get into hashtags here. I've been reading here, even the last couple of days, LinkedIn really only likes 3 hashtags. And I've heard that, and I've been kind of qualifying that a little bit. I was on a podcast earlier listening, and they said, don't use more than 3 hashtags. And that's kind of hard to do sometimes because you like to use hashtags. But here's the deal with hashtags. If your post has a hashtag that a lot of people follow, then LinkedIn is going to show your post to that hashtag. And here, I want to show you an example of what I'm talking about here. So hopefully you can see my screen. You see it, Steve? Yep. Okay.
I do. I see it.
So here's a hashtag I like to use, and it's a little slow here, called hashtag best advice. So if I'm giving advice on something, whatever it is that I'm making a post about, I'm going to look up a hashtag that I might want to use. This is slow because of Zoom right now. So I'm going to look that hashtag up, and if I'm just giving advice on something that I've learned, but hashtag best advice has 7,700,000 followers. That's a huge amount of followers on that one hashtag. So on that post, if it makes sense to say hashtag best advice, I'm going to use that. 7 million people are my opportunity that my post is going to go to for that hashtag. Maybe I'm posting about real estate. I use hashtag real estate or hashtag mortgage. It depends on what your hashtag inspiration. Maybe you're just making an inspiring post and you want people to feel happy when they see your post. Think about the words that you're going to put on that hashtag and then search them real quick in LinkedIn to see if people follow that hashtag. It's really slow right now. Or I'd show you a couple more. But hashtags are critical to get more visibility to your posts. You want visibility because that draws more people to you. And then I would say use 3 hashtags. 2 of them around what your content is, and the last one, your own personal hashtag. So for my company, I use hashtag service first MTG on all of my posts. So if I click that hashtag, you'll see all of my posts come together at once. A hashtag just shows you all the posts that use that one hashtag. It just combines all that content. So that's my advice. 3 hashtags, 2 of them around your content. 1 of them is your own personal one. It's a real opportunity to get your posts more visible. And then if you hit on a good one, I've had mine say, hashtag motivation I might use. And then in my feed, it'll tell me you're trending in motivation. You're trending in inspiration. That means that LinkedIn took my post, showed it to those hashtags, and a lot of people liked it and engaged with it. So it really took it to the next level and started showing it to more people. And so that's the kind of engagement you want a lot of people to see your posts. Does that all make sense?
Hey, John.
Yes, sir.
So sometimes whenever I make a post and it's doing okay, but sometimes they'll say, you've had X amount of people that have looked at your post. Try mentioning somebody by name.
Yep.
Do you do that?
I do that for sure. I do that. I think it's my next screen here, if I'm right. I talk about a little bit on this. So I like to tag people in my posts. And here's a new one I learned. I was told recently to tag myself at the bottom of my post, because when people read my post, they're more likely to click on my own name to take me to my profile. They said it will increase your visibility or your views of your own profile by 35% by tagging yourself in the bottom of your post. I haven't tried it yet. I literally heard that this morning on a podcast as I was driving to the office. So something new I'll try. But let me talk about what we kind of mean here. this is a post I did that kind of actually started all these classes for me. So I told you guys I started in the beginning. A builder asked me to kind of teach LinkedIn to their sales reps. And so this is that actual class. And I made a post about it. I just said, hey, realtors and builders, do you use LinkedIn to generate business? Today I was asked to teach Pacesetter Homes. So in my class, on my post, I tagged Pacesetter Homes. Thank you for the opportunity, Taylor and Jared Wilson. I tagged the two individuals that kind of helped organize it. I said, here's the topics we covered, which we're going over today. And then I used more than 3 hashtags because I didn't know my own advice yet. So I used some hashtags on here. And so when you tag somebody, kind of go back to yours. So you put the @ symbol in your post. You put the @ symbol and then you start typing their name. LinkedIn will recommend the name of the person that you're connected with that you're trying to tag. So you just find their name and you click on it. And so what it does in my post, if this wasn't a presentation, I could click on this name of Taylor and it would take me to Taylor's profile page. So it's going to draw more attention to Taylor. It's going to draw more attention to Jared. It's going to draw attention to Pacesetter Homes. But it's also going to show my post to all of their connections. So it's just a way to build your own visibility up for your posts. Does that make sense? So tagging people is critical. For me, this one post turned into about 10 other classes that I teach. I had somebody reach out to me and said, you're a LinkedIn guru. We've been looking for one. Would you come be the guest speaker at it was at NAREP. And so they asked me to be the guest speaker and they said, how much do you charge? I was like, how much do you pay? It was kind of a joke, right? I'm like, I'm not asking for money for this. I just created this class and did it one time. And so I went and did this for about 80 people. And then I got asked from there to go to multiple real estate offices all over Dallas, Fort Worth and do the same class. And so it's just something people aren't sure what to do with LinkedIn and they want more advice on it. And that's why this has been beneficial for them is I'm just showing you what I do every day. But you never know where these are going to take you, these posts. And because I tagged people and did this, it created this conversation behind the scenes. You won't see that success on my LinkedIn because all that was done through direct messaging, phone calls, texts outside of LinkedIn. You'll see that I've been teaching classes, but it's crazy for me to know that I engage and do all this on LinkedIn and I'll have people tell me, hey, I saw your post. They'll even start talking to me about some of the words and I'll be like, hey, you never commented. You didn't like the post. You didn't say anything. And they're like, yeah, no. You know, so not everybody that you're reaching is engaging with your content, especially on LinkedIn. So just know you got to stay with it if you're going to commit to it. It's so important. For me in the mortgage industry, I have some of my friends come up to me and say, hey, I love this post. I actually used it in one of my sales meetings, my own competitors. And I'm like, you didn't like it or engage with it? Like, no, I didn't want everybody to see that I was engaging with your stuff on LinkedIn. So, you know, there's always somebody's reason. So that's some of the personal success that I've had. So let's talk just a little bit more about posting. So one of the things I mentioned earlier, this is a cool post idea, 10 best kid-friendly parks and playgrounds in Salt Lake City. I saw a realtor post this. I was like, that would get shares. That would get people to engage. You know, that's a good idea of a post. This was a funny one I just ran across the other day. How messed up is it that Cinco de Mayo finally falls on Taco Tuesday? You know, we get messed up by a virus the same day as a name as a Mexican beer. You know, you're just trying to have fun once in a while and keep people engaged, keep it light. Here was one that is kind of fun for May the 4th be with you, which is kind of the Star Wars day. I twisted that around and made some business points for it. And then this video over here was, I thought it was a great video. This particular loan officer made a video about how he'll call, when his buyer makes an offer on a house, he'll call the listing agent and talk about that he's already got them pre-qualified. He's already got all their docs ready. We're teed up and ready to close this thing fast. Hopefully you'll consider our offer. And he just kind of helps support, you know, the buyer's agent with their offer. And we're trying to get it accepted, especially in multiple offer situations, which we've been in lately. So I thought it was a cool video idea. Just stuff I've been running across that I think is effective and fun. This is a slide I added recently, and I think that we're in this kind of Corona economy, if you want to call it. We're coming we're in this pandemic. I don't know what it looks like. It's crazy right now. I don't know where it's going, but the things I think you should focus on as far as your content is helping other people. It's preserving safety, and it's being dependable and trustworthy right now. And so for me, if I was a realtor and I was out there, I would want people to feel safe they're doing business with me. So I would talk about how we use masks, or how we, put, if we're going to list your house, we're going to put the hand sanitizer all around the house, and whatever safety features you're going to use to make the seller and the buyers feel safe about looking at houses. You want people to trust you and know that you are looking out for everybody's well-being, and just things like that. Those are the kind of things that are going to draw people to you right now. And you got to think about the moment that we're in and how people perceive that moment, and what can you do to draw them to you versus your competition. So I think these are the things I would focus on no matter what business you're in. Just helping other people. What can you do to help? How do you keep safety top of mind, and just show how are you dependable and trustworthy right now? How are you the one that they should trust to do business with you? So kind of my quick addition. Let's talk about articles. I had this question earlier. Articles are great. Articles are long form content. So what an article does is it allows you to write this long form content. And when you post an article on LinkedIn, it alerts all of your connections that you've posted this article. And so it's an opportunity for you to become really visible really fast when you post an article. Here's a couple ideas of some I've ran across I think were kind of cool for realtors. Just kind of like I said earlier, top 5 restaurants kids eat free. What are the top 5 day trips within an hour drive of DFW? These are the type of content I see that when you post stuff like this, a lot of people you're connected to will share it. They'll forward it to people. They'll like it. They'll, that type of thing. And so these are things that draw people to you. Just think about, I think that if the articles I engage with, you get less people engaging with your articles, but you get very people that are very serious about that content that want to engage with that article. So I would recommend you do articles. I would say try to do 1 a month, 1 a quarter, whatever your plan is, and just know that that is a tool that is out there. You'll start finding yourself, if you get really engaged on making posts on LinkedIn, you'll start running out of room on some of your posts, and some of those can turn into articles. So just flip them over there and continue writing out your points and make some articles out of them. So I do it on occasion, and I think that it's a good form of content. These are just a few suggestions I've had. So I hope I helped answer your article question. If you have any questions, let me know. I think it's important to, comment and like on other people's content, because that draws people back to you. Engagement is so important. So if you notice something you like and you comment on it, then other people are going to see your comment, and they're going to wonder who you are, and they're going to want to click on your profile and come to you, and they're going to start looking at your feed a lot of times. So it's important for you to spend time commenting and liking other people's posts. One of the things I do is I try to tag the person back that comments. So if I make a post today and Steve makes a comment on it, I'll be like, right on, Steve, I totally agree with you. And I'll tag Steve when I say Steve. And so that actually draws my post and those comments. It gets more attention to my post. So LinkedIn likes that we're engaging. It likes that it's going to show your post to more people because there's engagement on it. The first 2 hours of your post are the most critical. So if you have a way to get more people to engage with your post early on, LinkedIn is going to show it to more people. One of the things I've done is I have, internally, there's a few of us that use LinkedIn a lot. We have a message group inside LinkedIn. So when we make a post in the morning, we drop that copy of that post in that message group. So it alerts about 10 different people that I made a post today. And if they can, they'll go in and comment and like on that. What it does is it forces my content through the algorithm a little bit faster, so more people see it quicker. And if I see other people post their posts in there, when I can, I'll go in and comment and like on theirs and create more engagement. And then hopefully that kind of kick starts it out to show more people. It's just kind of a way to work the system a little bit. Remember, all we're trying to do is market and be seen by the most amount of people we can. That's what the whole point of this is all the time. And so I just think it's so important for you to comment and engage on other people's content. I've had people even almost make the content about them because their interaction is so important or so critical, or their point's even better than the post. And then people start asking them questions. So you don't want to hijack somebody's post and be disrespectful, but at the end of the day, just by engaging with other people, you're going to draw them back to you. So it's important. Also, by engaging, you're going to increase your social selling index. And I'm going to show you what that is real quick. Your social selling index is like your score, your LinkedIn score on how effective are you at using LinkedIn. And I'll show you what that looks like here in just a second. But first, I want to talk about how often you should post before we kind of get off posting. So this is just a guide. It says with Twitter, you should post every 18 minutes because it's so fast and engaging and interactive, and it's quick and everybody flies through it. I don't use Twitter like that. With Facebook, you should post about every 5 hours, which is 4 or 5 times a day to stay current and at the top of people's feeds. Facebook has an algorithm of the top 53, and you're trying to stay in the top 53 people that your connection engages with, so they show you all your Facebook content the most. So, that's a lot of posting 4 or 5 times a day. Instagram and LinkedIn are about the same. It's about once a day. So I would say there's all different times a day that work best. Personally, I find that Monday afternoon is better than morning a lot of times. I find Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are great times to post. Friday afternoon is terrible. It's almost the worst. Saturday is okay. Sunday evening is great. I don't know why, but Sunday evening is one of the best times to post. People are engaging back to work. Maybe they're thinking about the week ahead. Maybe they're looking for a new job. I don't know. But I know Sunday evenings is kind of good. So that just gives you kind of an idea of a framework around when to post. Don't overthink it. My commitment is to post once every day. However I can get that post up, I do it every day. And it could just be, if I'm in a spot and I'm just so busy, the best thing I can do, excuse me, is just go share somebody's post I really like. That is, for me, it checks the box. I did something that day. But you can always share somebody's post that you like, to just say, hey, okay, I posted today. But the best thing you can do is just think about documenting your day. There's always an opportunity for you to show something that you're doing that people are going to be interested in. So that's what I do, is I post every day. And if you guys see my stuff, I appreciate you comment and like it when it speaks to you. I'll do the same for you. And that's kind of how we can help each other. But let's go into like messaging a little bit. You just click and you message people through LinkedIn. And this is how you make money on LinkedIn, to be honest. This is where your leads come from. So let's talk about, it's really simple how to do it. Let's talk about the different types of messages. So if I go and connect with people, I'll send them a message for a connection. Hey, there's never been a better time to connect right now. I appreciate the consideration. I'll put my initials. I use a hashtag lead strong. Kind of lately, I've been doing stuff like that. It's been kind of crazy. People connect with me. Then I'll turn right back around and I'll say, thanks for the connection. And so what happens a lot of times in these engagements when you connect with people is you'll start a conversation. I had a guy this morning that I don't know how I ended up connecting, but he connected with me in Boston. And I was like, hey, thanks for the connection. And he's like, is there anything I can help you with? Here's what I do. And we started having a conversation. And it was just quick and easy. It wasn't anything high level, but, he made a connection and we started having conversation really quick. And that's what happens on LinkedIn when you start messaging people, is you just start having these small conversations. I think the next thing you need to do is give people value. There's a book that Gary Vaynerchuk has called Jab, 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 Right Hook. And what he means is give, 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 and then ask for business. So if I was a realtor, again, and there was a target I was trying to go after, let's say I was going after that HR director at a big company in town, or maybe the superintendent for a school district that I wanted to get into or something. I'm going to come up with things that give value to them. I'm going to connect with them on LinkedIn. I'm going to message them real quick. Thanks for the connection. I'm not going to sell them. And then I'm going to turn around and give them some value, depending on who they are, what that value might be. You know, it could be things about the community. It could be things that are going on in the real estate market. Like, hey, things are hot. Here's some stats. You know, it could be just advice on a book you've read. It could be anything. Just give a little bit of value, give a little bit of value, and then go in and say, hey, you know, I've been helping HR directors sell more. I've been helping attract more talent, and this is the way I've been doing it. I had a realtor friend of mine that literally connected with an HR director on LinkedIn, and he said, I would like to go pick your recruits up that you're trying to bring in as the doctors for a hospital. I'm going to pick them up at the airport, and I'm going to tell them about our town. And I'm going to answer all the questions they have and tell them why our city's the best one to live in. And I'm going to let them do the interview, and then I'll take them back to the airport for you. It was a huge for him. He started selling houses to these doctors. They're higher-end houses. It was a great deal. He made these connections through LinkedIn because HR directors are on LinkedIn. You know, it's just something they use every day. They're going to answer that phone and engage with you through a direct message really fast. So not every single person that you're going to target is going to be on LinkedIn. But the people, when you start putting your marketing plans together and you start thinking, okay, I want to go target whatever, Alcon, Raytheon, some big company, those people in those companies are on LinkedIn and they're using it every day. You're one message away from having a conversation with these guys. So think about how you can have that conversation and what you can talk about that will just prompt a little bit to get started. And next thing you know, you're going to have the opportunity to go and kind of ask for that meeting or whatever you're aiming for. You know, you're going to be able to get business from LinkedIn. You know, another simple one is just birthdays and congratulations, that type of thing. You know, it's always good to engage as much as you can because you're going to start these small conversations. So when I connect with people, one of the things they tell me, is there anything I can do for you? That's a common thing I get a lot of times. One of my responses is, I have a commitment to post every day. I'd love, if my content speaks to you, I'd love for you to engage and comment on that. And then I would do the same for you. And then, you know, I kind of start a small conversation that way. I just find ways to get a conversation going with people that are cold. And so there's a lot of different angles to go here. I'm just trying to give you ideas to get your mind started. But the only way to really have LinkedIn be successful for you is to direct message and engage. We can post, we can build our profile, we can do all these great marketing things, but if we don't actually engage with people and have real conversations, it's not going to matter that much. You're just going to go through the motions, but you're not going to get the leads that you're expecting. So you've got to still get on the phone. You still got to get direct message going. You still got to engage with people. I know it's kind of obvious, but that's the miss I have with people. They'll tell me it's not working. I'm like, who are you talking to? What messages are you sending? How are you wording those messages? That's the moneymaker in the whole thing. I feel like I'm preachy and I'm going fast, but I'm almost done. So last couple slides and we'll wrap it up. Social Selling Index is kind of your score LinkedIn gives you. There's a website. You can Google this right here or go to this website. If you Google Social Selling Index, it's going to pop you right to a screen. You click on it and it'll tell you your score, or you can go to linkedin.com/sales/SSI. And it's going to look like this. This was a screenshot of mine just to give an example. I was 80 out of 100. So I don't do direct solicitation on LinkedIn, and I think that would fill my gap to go to 100. But the average CEO has 1,800 connections on LinkedIn, and their score is around 37. And so, you know, just to know that if you have more than 1,800 connections, you're better than an average CEO. And then the engagement level is based on how much you post, how much you comment, that type of, if your profile is built out, all that type of thing. So I would tell you, if you're going to use LinkedIn as a strategy, go out there, take a screenshot of your social selling index real quick, and then in a month or two, go do it again and see if you've gained, you know, your score, if your score is increased. It'll really give you an idea of if it's working or not. Last, just real quick, be compliant. So LinkedIn's like any other social platform. If you're a realtor, you need to follow the rules. And I've given a couple links here that just show social media policies. Make sure you add that type of information or disclosure to your page and all that. That's it. Kind of like the end of the day, just my big takeaway here is build your profile in a way that attracts people to you. Remember that no matter what, people are going to Google your name. That's how the world is a lot of times, especially if they're getting introduced to you. Your LinkedIn profile is one of those top things. You want those people to read your profile and go, wow, he's a professional. I want to work with him. You want to attract people to you. So that's the most important thing I want you guys to take away today. I'd love to see you guys just spend a few minutes to write down how you're going to engage with LinkedIn. You know, for me, I have a time block every morning where I do posts, social media engagement and all that. I do it every single morning like clockwork. So I time blocked it for myself. It doesn't take that long. I don't sit on LinkedIn all day and do this. I'm consistent by doing it that way. And then I'll post and then I'll engage a little bit. You don't want to go like post and ghost, they call it. You don't want to post and not have any engagement. LinkedIn won't like you for that. If you're going to make a post, go engage with a few people. I know it will matter to your post because it sees that you're active on there and that you're not a robot just posting things on there. So engage, and that's how you're going to grow your business. So I know you guys are busy right now. I try to get through this as fast as I can. Here's a couple resources of just some things. If you're coming back to this presentation, I mentioned Gary Vaynerchuk's strategy on how to be the digital mayor of your town. There's a 300-page deck in here that's a link to that and how he talks about that. Here's HemingwayApp.com, Grammarly.com. Here's some tips on your headshots, just different things like that I found that I thought were useful over time. That's all here in the presentation. And I'm done. Thank you guys for listening and let me share my story. Do you guys have any questions? I'd love to help you right now.
Just
John,
thank you
this
so
was
much
a
for all
great
this information.
presentation.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you very much. Very informative.
Yeah, we'll make sure we email this deck out to you guys, or we recorded this, and then you know, I'll probably have Steve help me do it and just shoot it out to you guys. He's kind of been one of my case studies lately, so if you have questions, he could help you as well. And I just think that, you know, for me, if I show you what I'm doing and I practice what I preach, it's that's the best kind of classes you can be in. So that's what I've been trying to give you guys, is just show you what I do on a day-to-day. So thanks for taking an hour of your time. I'd love to see you guys. If you're on LinkedIn and you just like, hey, what do you think about this? Shoot me a message in there. Ask me a question. You know, whatever you have, I want to help you guys and be a resource. So thanks for your time today.
Thanks, John.
Yes, sir.
Thanks so much, John. Appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Y'all have a great day.
Yes, sir. Let's go make it happen today. A lot of opportunity out there.
Tons.